Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video we are going to talk about React learning series again. We did continue till the working of the events. We started off with the events introduction in the last video. You could look at it in the playlist of React Learn in an Easy Way. So continuing from continuing from that, we are going to now see how we could use drop down and checkboxes and capture events on the same. Now, fundamentally, when you are using a drop down or a checkbox, we could capture the event in the similar way, just like on a button. But here we'll capture an event called as on change rather than on click. Though it is having a click event internally, but still the state changes for those two controls. So whether you check a checkbox, its checked state changes. It may be on and off. And for a drop down combo box also, so when you select another value, let's say there's a list of countries, you selected A country and then now you change it to B country, so there is an event called as an on change, which we are going to study and how we could capture that. So stay tuned, and we are going to actually see how it works in the real time. So let's friends see firstly how we could use a checkbox to actually capture the events on the checkbox within React app. Let's create what we call a checkbox first. So I'll just use an input type is equal to checkbox, and then we'll use let's say on change property. So I'll say on change, and then once on change is there, I could use this function which passes an event, and then let's say we want to capture is a vegetarian or not, right? So that's the function we want to use around. We'll create that function, and that's what the function is all about. And then we want to actually display is vegetarian in front of that also as a label, so that's what it shows. Let's try running this and see whether it kind of displays this on the the browser or not. So it's saying, would you like to run the app on the another port? Yes, let's say okay, so it runs on 3000. Says is veg is not defined, vegetarian function. Okay, so let's kind of create that function over here. So we have displayed that function. So now if you see there it is vegetarian or not. So there's a kind of a checkbox out here. So let me just use it and put it to another PR tag. So is vegetarian, yes, it is there. Now fundamentally what you need to do is you need to kind of capture the events on here, and once you capture the event, so you could probably like do it the way you want to stuff that out. Now what I could do is I could pass out a value over here that is e.target, and I could use its checked attribute. Now checked attribute is something which you could pass to actually ensure whether your checkbox is checked or not. So once it is checked, so you could just use a checked property over here. So you say if checked, so you just want to display console.log the value of the checkbox or the state of the checkbox is checked, and else, so you could just do is console.log the state of the checkbox is not checked. So that's another one. So once we go, let's check that, and let me inspect it. So open up the console window. So if I click on is vegetarian, so it says the state of the checkbox is checked, so it immediately captures that event. And if I click on to this again, so it says the state of the checkbox is not checked, because what I'm capturing is the checked state for that checkbox. Now, based upon this, you want to store it in a database, or you want to do some another action or send it to an API. That's what you could do, but this is essentially how you could capture that particular event. Now, we'll try to see the next one is the drop down combo box. Now, how you could use the drop down combo box almost in the same way. So let's go back to that and see around how we could use that. So now for the drop down combo box, let's try, I'll use a paragraph tag, and I'll just use a select tag, select, and then I'll say, let's say it is languages, something like this, and then I'll say you want to use let's say a class name. I'm just going to use form control. Okay, so that's one. Now within the select box you have multiple options, so you say option value is equal to, let's say, C#, and you just want to give the value as a C#, copy that, paste it. There's another one, let's say Java, you specify the option as Java and then paste it again. So let's say you have Python and you change that to Python, right? So that's how you display these three values within that. So this is what it is, languages drop down combo box, and you could just say span select language. Now the moment you do here is, so you get this as a select language, so you get three languages, C#, Java, Python. So you refresh that out. Okay, so you could select any of the language. Now what we need to do is you just need to capture that which language has been selected, and based upon that we want to just display it on the console or anything. Now the same way we did that, so we could use another function on change, that's the event, and I'll just use an event which is being passed on, and I'll say on change on language change. That's the function, and I want to pass target dot value. So now value is typically the value that has been selected, so that's being passed, so we could capture that. Now when I use function on language change, and I'll say the language selected language and you could just use console.log use selected language, and then you could just do this selected language. So that's what you do. Go back, refresh that. So if I select Java, so it says you selected language Java. Okay, Python, or you select any language, so you could just capture that. And the same way you could actually use this to pass it to a API or anything else, or to a database based upon the user input you want to do anything else. So that's how guys, you could use event handling not only on buttons but rather this drop down or even a checkbox. So I'll be coming up with more videos on this, so stay tuned, and if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe it. Thank you.